Call the meeting to order. We'll begin with the Pledge of Allegiance. I invite you to join us. I pledge allegiance to the flag
of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Roll call, please.
Peck. Here. Pepcorn.
Here.
Strand.
Here.
Turnberg. Here. Mahoney.
Here. We just had executive session. Do I have a motion?
I do. In the matter titled The City of Fargo versus Purdue Pharma LP et al., I move to approve the City Attorney's Office informing the plaintiff's executive committee that the City of Fargo will not be joining any motion to amend the pleadings to add claims against Endeavor Incorporated and Mylan.
Is there a second?
Second.
Any discussion? Roll call vote, please.
Turnberg.
Yes.
Pepcorn.
Aye.
Colpack.
Aye.
Strand.
Yes.
Mahoney.
Aye. Health. The Environmental Health Division of Fargo County Public Health hosted a food truck event in June. Participating vendors were inspected by the staff of the Environmental Health Division, and community members enjoyed a variety of food options. Library. A reverse glass planning workshop for teens is June 19th at 1 p.m. at the downtown library. This event is free. All materials will be provided and pre-registration is required. Chess club sessions for all ages are scheduled Tuesdays at 5 p.m. through the summer at the downtown library. Planning. The value of construction in Fargo in the first 6 months of 2024 is higher than last year. Permits have been issued for $472 million through the end of June, and the value last year was $389. The two largest projects this year are the $131 million airport expansion, which includes a new parking garage and additional to the terminal, and the $48 million downtown North NP development, which includes a community theater, apartment building, and city parking garage. Other. Last Friday was Fargo County Public Health Director Desi Fleming's last day. Desi spent 32 years with Team Fargo, beginning as a public health nurse. She was named the Fargo City Public Health Director in 2018. We want to thank Desi for her 3 decades of exceptional public service to our metro community, region, and state. We wish her all the best in retirement.
Historically in my family, we did have a lot of healthcare or caring type professions. My passion starting out was pediatrics. That was my first job. And I got to the point where I was a little bit burnt out on shift work. You know, the hospital, you're dealing with people with crisis, people are sick. Public health, you go into someone's home, so you're on their turf. As I got more into public health, that was my love of it, right? Because you're trying to impact people before problems happen. In 2000, an opportunity came up to be a nursing supervisor for the agency, and that's when our nurse-family partnership, which was that national home visitation program, came to Fargo, and I was able to help bring that program to our community. The cool thing about that is all of those things with relationships have helped me so much in my leadership, because it taught me, you know, how to connect more with people and the importance of building on a relationship in order to like empower people and to impact change. My skill set is supporting people who have a whole lot of talent, and I can support and help, and that's how we make an impact in the community. Like if staff here can feel empowered to do their job, if they can feel supported at their job, they are going to go out and do our mission better. I hope I've made a difference here. I've enjoyed my career. I feel like there are people here I will miss, and I hope that we have laid foundations, you know, for years to come going forward.
I'm sure she's watching from home because she doesn't have to be here any longer, so that's wonderful. Thank you. Can I have a motion to approve the order of the agenda?
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion carried. At this time, I'd ask Judge Dawson to come forward to administer oaths of office, Commissioner John Strand and Commissioner Michelle Turnberg. I think you two need to go down to the floor, maybe with your cheat sheets. John, I would think you'd have this memorized by now.
Commissioner Turnberg, let's begin with you. If you would raise your right hand, please, and repeat after me. I, Michelle Turnberg,
I, Michelle Turnberg,
having been elected to the office of Fargo City Commissioner,
having been elected to the office of Fargo City Commissioner,
do solemnly swear that I will support
do solemnly swear that I will support
the Constitution of the United States,
the Constitution of the United States,
the Constitution of the State of North Dakota,
the Constitution of the State of North Dakota,
and the Home Rule Charter of the City of Fargo,
and the Home Rule Charter of the City of Fargo,
and that I will faithfully discharge
and that I will faithfully discharge
the duties of the office of Commissioner
the duties of the office of Commissioner
according to the best of my ability.
according to the best of my ability.
So help me God.
So help me God.
And Commissioner Strand, if I could have you raise your right hand, please, and repeat after me. I, John Strand,
I, John Strand,
having been elected to the office of Fargo City Commissioner,
having been elected to the office of Fargo City Commissioner,
do solemnly swear that I will support
do solemnly swear that I will support
the Constitution of the United States,
the Constitution of the United States,
the Constitution of the State of North Dakota,
the Constitution of the State of North Dakota,
and the Home Rule Charter of the City of Fargo,
and the Home Rule Charter of the City of Fargo,
and that I will faithfully discharge the duties
and that I will faithfully discharge the duties
of the office of Commissioner
of the office of Commissioner
according to the best of my ability.
according to the best of my ability.
So help me God.
So help me God.
Commissioner Turnberg, congratulations.
Thank you, Judge Dawson. I know you're busy in your schedule, and it was nice to come by. Is there a motion to approve the minutes of the June 24th regular meeting?
That's a move.
Is there a second?
Second.
Any corrections or discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion carried. Is there a motion to approve the consent agenda items 1 through 31?
So move.
Is there a second?
Second.
Moved and seconded. Roll call vote, please.
Strand,
Yes.
Kolpak.
Aye.
Pepcorn,
Aye.
Turnberg,
Aye.
Mahoney.
Aye. Regular agenda, update on the grants payment ruling. City Attorney Nancy Morris to explain.
Thank you. Before each of the commissioners, I did put a two-page document that I copied out of the IMLA newsletter that comes out. It's an International Municipal Lawyers Association. IMLA did file an amicus brief in the Grants Pass, Johnson Grants Pass decision that came down on June 28th from the Supreme Court. And I think that I would say that this article really sums it up best. I will make one quote out of it. It's on the third column. It says that Justice Gorsuch, in a 6-3 majority opinion, squarely disagreed with the Ninth Circuit reading the Eighth Amendment. The cruel and unusual punishment clause focuses on the question what method or kind of punishment a government may impose after a criminal conviction, not on the question whether a government may criminalize particular behavior in the first place, or how it may go about securing a conviction for that offense. The majority also challenged the intrusion of the judiciary into the complexities of unhoused persons, explaining that the Constitution's Eighth Amendment serves many important functions, but does not authorize federal judges to wrest the rights and responsibilities from the American people to decide how best to handle a pressing social question like homelessness, and in their place dictate this nation's homelessness policy. So again, as I said, the IMLA article sums it up best. The Supreme Court determined it is not cruel and unusual punishment to not allow camping on public property, even though an individual may be homeless, and the municipality may take appropriate action to remove the camps. In other words, it is not unconstitutional to make it illegal to camp on public property. That is the decision of the Supreme Court in Grants Pass.
So now what the staff is going to do is look at that ordinance and come up with some ideas, and I'll talk to the police chief today about it. And I'm presuming you'll work with staff, Nancy, to bring back an ordinance that seems to be where the country is headed, or?
Well, I won't speak for where the country is headed, but I will say that Brenda Derrick has been spearheading a number of discussions, particularly following the motion that was made 2 weeks ago to work on an ordinance. I know that there is a meeting planned later this week with interested parties.
Mr. Pepcorn?
The chair, so can I just say real quick, what I'd like Nancy to do is work with the Park District, because I think we have to be on the same page. And then the other thing, right now at Lindenwood Park, that's where there's a campground. It's $35 a night. And so I know Commissioner Strand was worried about this being a criminal penalty. This should be a ticket. And it should be more than what it is to camp. Otherwise, so to me, my mind would be a $50 fine, but we should prohibit camping in our public property, whether it's the Park District or the city properties. That's, to me, we should not be singling out anybody. This should be for everybody, that camping is only permitted in public campgrounds where we have sanitation, safety, and all those types of things. So I do think we need to be on the same page with the Park District. So Nancy, and maybe you were planning on doing that already, but I do think that's very important.
Well, I can speak to that. The Park District has been involved in the process since last summer, and as well as their council. And they have been working very collaboratively with the city. Police department has been there, Public Works, harm reduction, working toward what I would believe is a unified approach to humanely address the homelessness issue.
Brenda, you want to comment?
Mr. Chair, just can I make another comment? This is a policy about camping, and to try to make this into something else, this is for everybody, not just a specific group. And so I don't like this where there's special groups that are being singled out. That's not how it should be. This should be for everybody. Camping is permitted in certain areas and not in others. We should not be talking about this. If you follow the rules, you follow the rules. All right, thank you, Mr. Chair.
Please, no clapping. We don't allow clapping when we're in business. Brenda, do you want to comment, please?
So we will be, we have a draft ordinance that we'll be meeting with the parties that Nancy had discussed earlier. We've been meeting about every other month to talk about the homeless camps and how to manage them. And so really what we'll be looking to the five of you is the direction that you want staff to take. And so we have, 2 weeks ago, we talked about an ordinance, so we can bring a draft ordinance forward. We talked about a potential resolution. And so it will be a determination of what the leadership, what direction you'd like to take.
And part of the reason we involve other departments is if Public Works has to get involved, sometimes that's who gets involved, Park Board gets involved. So we'll have the parties that are affected by whatever we put out there for an ordinance, because to enforce the ordinance, we're gonna have to bring our people in. So it's the staff you're bringing together is the staff that would be directly working on that.
And really our concern too is that if police get called out, there isn't a question of what land they're on. Are they on parkland or city land? So we're trying to work really closely with parks to make sure that it can be all treated the same.
All right, Commissioner Strand.
How are we relating to the jurisdictions across the river in the other state? I mean, I'm just curious about the jurisdictional boundaries here and how we end up on the same page or not.
You mean in regards to, I have not talked to the city of Moorhead yet as to how they're handling.
Yeah, but addressing this issue on one side of the river just probably pushes it to the other side of the river, I would guess. I don't know.
And so I think it will be dependent. I mean, I can reach out to Moorhead and visit with them, but I have not talked to them today on how they are managing. If they may be doing periodic camp cleaning. I am not aware for sure.
We can look into that. We'll talk to Mayor Carlson, but John, we don't have jurisdiction across the river, so.
No, but I want us to be communicating so the left hand and the right hand are in touch with each other.
We'll make sure they know what's going on here so they can know. Any other discussion on the issue? Thank you. We will go to public hearings. Number 133, it's going to be a continuant from 722 hearing to consider the renewal plan and develop agreement on JS2L Partners LLP for a tax increment finding district 2024-01. The 600 block of 4th Street North continued from 610 and 624 regular meeting. Is there a motion to continue the hearing on Monday, July 22nd, 2024?
I so move.
Is there a second?
Second.
Any discussion? Roll call vote, please.
Pepcorn.
Aye.
Colpack. Aye. Turnberg.
Aye.
Strand.
Yes.
Mahoney.
Aye. Item 34, public hearing on a dangerous building located at 1011 University Drive North. Sean Aradnick to explain.
Good evening, good evening, Mayor and Commissioners. I'm here to talk about 1011 University Drive North. It's actually a duplex, so it's 1011 and 1013 University Drive North. The owners are Philip and Martha. I'm sorry, I don't know how to pronounce that last name. Grantuis. It consists of a 1,960 square foot, 2-story wood frame duplex structure with a detached 2-stall garage. It was built in 1918 and the taxes are current as of 2023. A list of the deficiencies we've noted is the garage roof has collapsed and has put pressure on the walls, pushing them out. The south lower house roof is deteriorated and covered with a tarp. Areas of the house fascia and soffit are rotten or missing. There's multiple broken windows. The exterior of the house has areas of deterioration, trim, and graffiti. Signs of squirrel infestation in the roof and fascia. There was junk in the rear yard, and the house foundation has cracks and loose block. The water was stopped in 2009, and the electrical meter was removed in 2021. And it appears to meet 9 out of the 10 dangerous building criteria. The timeline for this one is we received a complaint about a possible dangerous building. It was a garage that had what we do is we call it tacoed. The roof had collapsed and pushed out on the walls of the structure. We received a complaint on that and spoke to Mr. Tigmeyer, who has a contract for deed for this property, and we agreed to allow him to demolish the garage and start the process for the repair of the structure in the spring of 2024. As long as we didn't receive any complaints, we were confident that that would be okay. He had a number of items in the garage that he wanted to remove first and then demo the garage. We started receiving complaints again in early 2024. On 2/1/2024, excuse me, that should be 2024, we conducted an inspection of the property again and noted many deficiencies. On 2/20/2024, we posted all the structures as dangerous buildings. Again, in 2/20/24, we spoke to Mr. Tigmeyer about the plans for the property and informed him he will need to take care of the garage immediately. So we did kind of strike a deal with him that if he could get rid of the garage within 60 days of the demo permit being pulled, that we would allow him to try and repair the house. On 3/19/2024, we sent a notice and order of the building official requesting entry to the dangerous building. We wanted to see the interior of the house structure. On 4/3/2024, we sent a second notice and order of the building official requesting entry again to the dangerous building. On 4/15/2024, we met Mr. Tigmeyer on site for the exterior and interior inspections, and that's when we discussed the demo permit with him so he could remove the items from the garage, remove the garage, and get engineering and plans ready for the house. On 4/17/2024, the garage demo permit was issued just 2 days later. On 6/17/2024, we had to expire that permit after the 60-day timeline that we gave him because there was very, very little work done. On 6/19, that's when we expired the permit. 6/24/2024, dangerous building hearing was sent to commission. And on 7/8/2024, we're here at the dangerous building. Here's some pictures of the house. This is as it stands. The little bump out on the side there, that's where the tarp is covering the roof. You can see the steps are deteriorating, and then there's the garage, what we refer to as a taco garage. Here's some more issues with it. Broken windows, blocks on the foundation are problematic. There's some rot and things around a lot of the windows. Here again, we're showing the foundation. Somebody at some time decided to cut a door into the foundation without a permit, and it's been collecting water. You can see that that has deteriorated and that the retaining wall they had up has collapsed. Again, here's the portion you can see if you look at the top. You can see the tarp that's covering the roof of that portion of the structure, and you can see a lot of rot and decay around the windows. Here's the interior basement portion. This is the door on the right-hand side. This is the door that was cut in there. There's no header. Nothing was done properly for that door, and we do believe that it was letting in a lot of moisture, a lot of water through that opening. You can see all the cracks and stuff in the foundation all over the place, and the fact that there's been water in there and has started deteriorating the bottom portions of those framing members you see there. A lot of them are structural and they're rotting and causing issues. Here again, we see some of the temporary fixes that are put in. You can see that they've been putting in 4x4s to hold up certain framing areas and stuff like that. That's not an approved fix. Also, they have temporary jacks that have been in there so long they're starting to rust, and that is not an approved fix. You can also see here that the foundation has multiple cracks in the corners and all over where it's been painted and where it has not been painted. Here again, you can see that the walls are bowing. There's lots of cracks, lots of problems with moisture and things getting into the basement. Upstairs, this is what it looks like, and a lot of the cracks and deterioration you see and stuff is because of the foundation settling and moving. Again, here's more pictures of cracks and just problems with the foundation in general. It would need some very strong structural engineering to be able to save this basement. Again, here's what the garage looks like, and these two pictures on the side were taken very recently. It has deteriorated even farther, and nobody has been taking care of it. And this is kind of what it looks like today with debris in the backyard and the garage pushing into the neighbor's yard so far that it's pushing on their fence, almost knocking it down, and the only thing holding it up is the tree. And the recommended motion is on your screen. I'll stand for any questions.
Thank you. Is anyone present who wishes to speak to this dangerous building? Come to the podium. You can give those to Shelley. She'll pass them out. You give to Shelley right there.
Ready to go to the next page, just turn it, okay? So what do we gotta do? Do you want to show this? You want to show that? Yep, so just show this. And if you ever want to do it, just turn the next page. Okay, so I don't have to do anything? No. Oh, good.
Please state your name.
Hi, yes, ladies and gentlemen of the Fargo City Commission, my name is Terry Tegmeyer. I am the contract for deed owner of the properties at 1011 and 1013 University. What I handed out to you is the bullet point response that we've drawn up here. Basically, we've been in contact with the city building inspection officials since April regarding the garage, and that had excessive snow weight on it before, and like he said, it kind of pancaked out. We had talked to the city prior to that about doing a demo in the spring when the weather would straighten out a little bit, and they said at that point that was fine. So we ended up meeting with the building inspection people out there, and that they had looked at the garage too and said basically the same thing that I had said. It wasn't salvageable, and we would go ahead with the demolition of that building. And we met with the city people, would have been right around April, and went through the building, the duplex, and did an inspection on there. And at that point, we had talked to them too about, if we could demo the garage, because that obviously had to go, then we could move forward on doing our repairs and everything on the existing duplex building. And as you can tell, he agreed with us to allow us to go ahead with the repairs, so they obviously were repairable. And we could bring the building into performance. And since then, at that point, I talked to Innovative Basement Authority, and they're kind of the basement gurus in this area as far as any water problems, brick and mortar problems, what needs to be done. They're very busy people, so they're supposed to be out to do an inspection here shortly, I believe now this coming week, and let us know what can be done there. It doesn't look as bad as the pictures show. It actually is a very well-built structure. What we're doing inside is going through, doing repainting, fixing cracks, blemishes, put down new carpet, and then resanding and refinishing the hardwood floors in there, which is something that you don't run across anymore. As far as on the outside, there's one spot where the soffit has deteriorated, but that's a normal occurrence on a building like that. Then that is the only spot, and that can be easily remedied too. He brought up squirrel infestation. There is no squirrels in there. I've not seen one. So the only thing I had seen on the outside in that particular area was a pigeon in there at one time, but there's no access from that soffit into the inside of the house. The tarp that he refers to we called it the sunroom because it's on a southern side and picks up the sun. We put the tarp up on top of there because we had problems the year before when we had so much snow and ice where we were getting ice damming, I should say, and it was backing water up inside. So we tried to be a little proactive the following year and put the tarp up there so that it wouldn't go down. But we need to, that area needs to be reshingled and different shingles so that it'll stop the ice damming that happens there. Let's see. Okay, then. The only other thing I'd like to, and it's in my notes too, is that I am a licensed contractor for the state of North Dakota and have been for many years. We've done a tremendous amount of work on buildings, and we've worked on, I wouldn't take on rebuilding this or, updating it if I didn't think it was going to work. And the structure for the age of it is in very good shape. So I'm...
So Terry, when are you going to take the garage down?
Say what?
When are you going to take the garage down?
The garage is 90% down. We left one wall up on the neighbor's side because we wanted to try and stop people from coming over there. I did bring this up with the building inspector, and he didn't say yes and he didn't say no, but he knew what I was talking about. The fence that he refers to that was knocked down, that's my fence that was put up there to stop people from coming over there. The broken windows on that particular side happened because those neighbors had a party in the backyard and came over and decided to throw beer bottles and whatnot at the storm windows and that. So that's how those windows got broken. We do have a police report on that also.
So you don't know when the basement people might be able to repair the basement because you don't have an estimate yet?
Yeah, they have to look at it. They wouldn't tell me. They wouldn't tell me.
And Sean, when we deem it a dangerous building, he has 60 days to come up with a plan. Is that not correct?
Yeah, if he can come up with the plans, get the garage demoed and come up with plans to repair the structure, we come back to the city commission and ask for an extension so he can complete the work.
So Terry, do you understand that?
Yeah, I guess I was unaware of that before.
Okay.
That my understanding when we met was that we get the building demoed out and then we would be able to move forward on doing whatever repairs in the basement that needed to be done.
Yes, that is correct. We did agree to that.
Okay.
What we did do is put stipulations on those agreements, though, that if no action was taken or very little action was taken within a certain time frame, that we wouldn't push forward with the dangerous building. The permit has expired. It was over 60 days and that garage was supposed to be down. Nothing was supposed to be there. They could have come up with a different way to keep people out of the backyard than just leaving that dilapidated structure up, which is an attractive nuisance for people and could cause injury.
My problem with that is that we didn't have weather permissible for us to do what we were trying to do. And number one, the garage was full of appliances and stoves, washers, things like that, furnaces, and something that a place where we had to put stuff to keep it in fairly decent shape. So that all had to be moved out of there. And in the meantime, we had to brace it so that our workers wouldn't have to worry about the building falling down on them either. And we did go ahead and do that. The other thing in May, we rained 20 out of 24 days. I think everybody knows that. And there's just no way, we couldn't haul stuff to the landfill. They wouldn't even let commercial operators in there. They were, the roads were bad enough that they were just allowing their own people in for the normal city garbage pickup. So we were kind of handicapped. The other thing we were handicapped with, the driveway on the north side of the house that goes in is about 8 feet wide, and we couldn't get a roll-off in there. And the city wouldn't back a roll-off in there so close to the house because they were afraid they would collapse it from the weight when they went back and forth. And I know that as a fact because on other projects, demos that we've done, that's exactly what they've said, is we end up having to try and move it in ourselves.
Yep, yep.
So we've been,
Is there anybody else present wish to speak to this public building? Terry, you will have 60 days, and then you can work with the department. They're going to ask you to take the garage down, weather permitting, within the next 60 days to make some progress. Otherwise, it's going to come down.
I understand that, and I thank you
Okay.
for that.
Okay. I close the public hearing. Do I have a motion?
I so move.
Is there a second?
Second.
Any discussion? Roll call vote, please.
Pepcorn.
Aye.
Turnberg.
Aye.
Strand.
Yes.
Colpack.
Aye.
Mahoney.
Aye. Public hearing 35, vacation plat of portion 5th Avenue North, right-of-way adjacent to Block 23, Leach and Well subdivision, 421 4th Street North, adjacent to 415 4th Street North. Approval recommended by Planning Commission on 6/4/24. Donald Crest to explain.
Good evening, Commissioners. Donald Kress with the Department of Planning and Development. I'll be presenting the next three items. Item 37 includes an ordinance prepared by the City Attorney's Office. Commissioners, it's July. We're all thinking about vacation, and tonight we'll be talking about vacations of right-of-way. All these projects include a vacation of right-of-way. These are done pursuant to the requirements of North Dakota Century Code, Chapter 4039. Findings from that statute are included in the staff reports for all these projects. As the mayor stated, item 35 is Leach and Wells subdivision. This is located right next to the former Fargo Public Schools District Office at 415 4th Street. Here's 4th Street. City Hall's down here a little bit. This very large area here. As you've probably driven by it many times, perhaps thought it was part of the parking lot, part of the credit union there, but it is in fact part of the right-of-way that was dedicated back in the 1880s. And the proposal is to vacate this portion of right-of-way. Your commission might remember just a little over a year ago, May 30th, 2023, you approved the vacation of this portion of that right-of-way. Here's a couple pictures. Again, you're standing on 3rd Street. There's the depot there, just open area there from both sides. This tower here, which has all those lights on it, you've probably been by that many times, that is not included in the right-of-way. Or in the right-of-way vacation, rather. The zoning here is DMU, downtown mixed use. The plat here depicts the area to be vacated and an easement that's retained for access and utilities. The recommended motion from the Planning Commission is stated in your staff report and shown on the screen. The project representative, Brian Pattengale of Houston Engineering, is with us this evening and may wish to address the commission. Now that concludes staff's presentation. Thank you, Commissioners.
Is there anyone present who wishes to speak in regards to this vacation? Anyone present wanting to speak? Close the public hearing. Do I have a motion?
I'll make the motion, and I have a question, if that's okay.
Okay. Is there a second?
Second.
Commissioner Pipcorn, your question.
So Don, the question I have is, so if you can show a picture of it, there's traffic that goes on there now. And so with this vacation, like as far as snow removal and all those kinds of things, what happens? And what happens to there's traffic that goes on that, is there a plan for that, or is that really none of our business at that point?
Well, let's look at that, sir. So there is an access easement to be retained over this, mainly for, city vehicles. I know people drive through there. It is our understanding from the school district's contact that they are selling this property and they want it'll be joined to their property. I don't know exactly what they're going to do with it, but these folks may be needing to go out and around here eventually.
But just to follow up, Mr. Chair, So right now, there's going to be an apartment building to the right of this picture.
Right here, sir.
And so they're not going to have any access. I know that I have a building in that area, and there's traffic that uses that. So after this vacation, there will not be access for traffic to get. Like you said, you'll have to go around and use the street on the other side. Is that correct?
That is my understanding, sir, yes.
Okay. No, thank you. It's, there's a few of those roads in that area where people use them to get around, and I guess that's my concern.
Yeah, I don't know if any of the other staff had a comment on that.
Who's our engineer on this, please? Or maybe Tom, can you explain it, please?
Try to answer. So again, there remains public right-of-way on 3rd Street to provide access to the south and then to the west. And like Donald said, there is an easement being retained over this. And so really where the access easement will provide access, it's just not as public right-of-way. So similar on some, commercial private developments where there's shared access across multiple lots, not public right away, but private, but public can still access through that easement.
All right, one more dumb question and then I'll be done, Mr. Chair.
Sure.
So I guess this is for Ben, so then it's actually a good thing because now we don't have to maintain it. I guess that's the main thing, but there still will be a right-of-way access. To me, it gets to be complicated, and so sorry to call on everybody on the whole roster, Mr. Chair.
Well,
We'll
good
see when we
evening.
find the right answer here.
So you are correct. We will not maintain it and do the asphalt patching and paving over the snow removal or ice removal anymore. A lot of the traffic that went through there was associated with the credit union, and now the credit union has relocated. So the traffic, I think, has cut down, but there is a lot of cut-through traffic that may use it. But again, we won't be maintaining it and during that cost.
But Mr. Chair, so there's a 800-person apartment building being built right next, I'm just telling you, what used to be used by a credit union by a few cars is not, it's going to be a lot of, so that's my concern. But as long as they know they're responsible for, this is actually good news for you, Ben. I don't know if we're going to reduce your pay, your yearly pay or anything like that, but it is, I mean, they are going to be responsible for removing snow, and there's going to be a lot of people using that. I don't know if that makes sense, Mr. Chair. Thank you.
Sure.
Yeah, you are correct. They won't be allowed to build on it. They won't be able to gate it. It'll still have to be a full access.
They'll have to exit on 3rd Avenue or 3rd Street, basically.
You are correct. If the traffic wants to cut through, they will still be able to cut through.
Thank you.
And
Any other discussion? Donald, did you want to say something?
I was just going to say if the applicant, engineer had any comments, but perhaps not.
We had a motion and a second. Any further discussion? Roll call vote, please.
Pepcorn?
Aye.
Kolpak? Aye. Turnberg?
Aye.
Strand?
Yes.
Mahoney?
Aye. Item 36, public hearing, vacation plat of west 23.5 feet of 22nd Street North, right of way between 7th and 8th Avenues North, adjacent to lots 1 and 21, First Industrial Subdivision of Beardsley's Addition. Approval recommended by Planning Commission on 4/2/24. Donald LaCrest to explain this vacation.
Thank you, Commissioners. This proposed vacation is located here. This is 7th Avenue North, 8th Avenue North, 25th Street North is over here. You've been driven by this many times, I'm sure, on 7th Avenue, seen this large open area. This has really never been used as a street. This is a very large right-of-way. It was, in fact, dedicated in 2 pieces, 70 years apart. This portion was dedicated in 1951. So this is 23.5 feet that's being vacated here. This is looking north from, well, there's a car lot there, but looking north from 7th Avenue. This area that is fenced here is approximately the area to be vacated. And then this is looking south from the north side here. From 8th Avenue, again, this area is the area to be vacated. With this one, the zoning here is LI Limited Industrial. The plat shows the 23.5 feet to be vacated. Coming up later this summer will be a second plat that will vacate the remainder of this right-of-way plus the alley. As noted, this portion was dedicated in 1882, and so since it was dedicated in 2 pieces, or 70 years apart, it was easier to just vacate it in the reverse order instead of doing one big vacation. So again, fairly straightforward here. You will note that your motion has a contingency in it. We brought that up because we found out, the surveyor found out last week that there was a utility line across this property, sort of a late information there, and a small easement needs to be added. The contingent approval allows your commission to approve this plat, and the final technical details will be worked out with city staff, planning and engineering, and the project surveyor. The area to be vacated will not change. So if your commission would wish to approve that, the project applicant's representative, Andrew Thill of Lowry Engineering, is with us this evening and may wish to address the commission. The recommended motion is stated in your staff report shown on the screen. That concludes staff's presentation. Thank you.
Is there anyone present wishes to speak to this vacation plat? Anyone present wishing to speak? If not, we'll close public hearing. Do I have a motion?
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
Moved and seconded. Any discussion? Not as much this time. No cars driving by. Okay. Roll call vote, please.
Strand.
Yes.
Kolpak. Aye. Pepcorn.
Aye.
Turnberg.
Aye.
Mahoney.
Aye. Item 37, City Side Addition, 202, 208, 210, 212, 6th Avenue North, and a few more. Approval recommended by Planning Commission on 12/5/23. Zoning change from multi-dwelling residential to downtown mixed use. First reading of the rezoning ordinance, and a plat of the City Side Addition. Donald Crest to explain this one.
Yes, sir. One more here. So the property here is located 2nd Street and 6th Avenue North, right up here from City Hall. In fact, a short or a long football pass from our last property, number 1 there. It's 88 yards. Property looks like this existing apartment building here. And this house, this property, this structure is not part of the plat or the vacated area. And then here we're looking down the portion of the alley to be vacated, the apartments in that same yellow house, as we'll see on the plat here. The current zoning is MR3, multi-dwelling residential. The proposed dwelling is DMU, downtown mixed use. You will see here that the adjacent properties, the purple is the DMU. So that's in line with that and the plans that apply to that area. The plat looks like this. So the plat combines all the existing lots into one single large lot, and then also vacates this portion of right-of-way, and again retains an access easement here as necessary, an access utility easement. These two portions of the alley are not being vacated. This property uses this portion of the alley for access to this multi-dwelling residence here. And then this property down here is owned by the Burlington Northern Santa Fe Railroad. They can take access to their property from their right-of-way down here, so they did not wish to participate in the vacation of right-of-way. The applicant's representatives, Nate Vilmuth of Goldmark Design and Development, is with us this evening and may wish to address the commission. The recommended motion is stated in your staff report and shown on the screen for the zone change to DMU and the plat, including the vacation of right-of-way. This concludes staff's presentation. Thank you, commissioners.
Is there anyone present who wishes to speak to this zoning change? Go ahead. Come up to the...
Only if you have questions for me.
Oh, only if you have questions already. Okay.
I have a question, Mr. Chair.
Yes, Mr. Pipcorn. Commissioner Pipcorn.
So when you look at that, there's several buildings. Can you just give us a brief summary of what your intentions are?
Yeah, the applicant is essentially getting it platted and entitled. The main purpose was to change it to DMU zoning to increase the value of it in hopes of a sale and a redevelopment, essentially.
That's great. Thank you.
Okay. Anybody else in the public wants to speak to this? If not, we'll close the public hearing. Do I have a motion?
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
Any discussion? Roll call vote, please.
Kolpak.
Aye.
Pepcorn.
Aye.
Turnberg.
Aye.
Strand.
Yes.
Mahoney.
Aye.
Thank you,
Public
commissioners.
hearing, Community Development Block Grant and Home Program Proposed Amendment to the 2023 HUD Action Plan. Nicole Crutchfield to explain.
Good evening, Mayor and Commissioners. The item in front of you tonight is for to open a public hearing for an action plan amendment towards our 2023 Community Development Block Grant and Home Program Action Plan. So you just saw the 2024 action plan. So just often we have 3 years in process, the last year, the current year, and the future year. And in last year, when we prepared the action plan, we knew we had a goal for improving properties and partnering with Lake Agassiz Habitat for Humanity. Mr. Jim Nelson is here with us today. And as part of our goal for our 5-year consolidated plan, we have the goal of working on these single-family properties such as this. But until we identify the actual lot and address, it's remained as a goal and not in a direct action item. And so now we have an actual property in mind, 213 24th Street South and 221 24th Street South. Lake Agassiz Habitat for Humanity will be building a twin home at this property. And we have already authorized the funding to be used for this project. That was way back in '23. However, now we have to move forward to amend it to identify the actual property here. So that's what's in front of you tonight. No action is needed at this time, just needing to open a public hearing. The public comment period ends July 19th. And if no comments are received, or final consideration would be at the City Commission meeting at July 22nd.
So any president wishes to speak to this funding and home program? Anybody wishing to speak? If not, I'll close the public hearing. I don't need a motion on this one. Thank you, Nicole. Item 39, request for licensing of scooter rental business. Staff is recommending a denial of the request. Kevin Gorder to explain.
Good evening, Mayor and Commissioners. We got a very unique subject for you tonight with scooter requests. We've taken a couple scooter requests, and I guess, I don't know if it's engineering's responsibility. I do come from the engineering department, but I guess I will speak to it and see where we go. And really what we're looking for is direction. We're recommending denial, but we could go any direction you want. We just want to be able to get it in front of you to get the some direction at where we might go in the future. But anyway, what is a scooter? It's the scooters that you might see them around communities around the United States. They're a rental. You kind of get on it, go to your next stop, get off, pay for it, move on. It's an application-based system where you can locate a scooter, rent it, it unlocks it, you drop the scooter, and you pay for the rental. So that's kind of the background. I did find a little bit of information in a quick Google search. How common are they? This data is a year old. I did check today to see if they updated for June of 24. They had not, but you can see there's about 156 cities that are served by these scooters. The trend line is trending down as you look at the orange bars, the orange part of the bar graph. The numbers of these scooter or communities is starting to decline across the United States. So, to the issue. We've had many inquiries over the last few years, in and out, different departments, really nothing that's kind of risen to the top yet. I have talked to 2 different parties that are requesting a license to operate. So I have had some conversations with both of them. I shared that we're going to try to take this to commission at some point and talk about it to see where we want to go. The current municipal code does not have a process to license a scooter rental business. We would have to modify that, and then multiple sections would need to be modified to allow scooter rentals. All of that, I guess, amounts to attorney and staff time for the needed change. And I think some of you guys may have received an email from some of the folks that are interested in starting a scooter business. So concerns, having conversations with the potential applicants and what they're talking about doing. One concern that we have in engineering is just the drop points and sidewalk widths. When you look at a typical street section in downtown, if you have this street section and now you're going to drop scooters and stuff like that somewhere on the sidewalk, we don't know that's a really good idea, and that's probably our primary concern. What some communities are doing, they are assigning drop points, so you can drop a point here or drop a point there. As we look at downtown, I suppose there's other spots, but what comes to mind is maybe Robert Street north of 2nd. There's a wide sidewalk there. Maybe it's the Civic Plaza, as far as places where you can safely drop these and not impact the sidewalk operations or parking operations and things like that. So that's a real quick overview of what we've looked at. Not really knowing what to do with this subject, we did bring it to PUPEC. And if you're familiar, planning, public works, fire, finance, administration, and city auditor are included in that committee. We thought that was a good place to bring it, just to have a discussion. We've also discussed at the downtown task force over the last couple months to see what their thoughts might be. And if I was to summarize them without speaking for all of those folks, I think most of the discussion tends to be concurring with denial of allowing scooters from the staff level. That's kind of it in a nutshell. If there's others, if you want to ask the departments, I'm sure they would all be willing to come up here and talk at length about how they might feel. But anyway, looking for direction on the scooters. I just want to remind the commission of that and the associated staff time and all that stuff. So here's a suggested motion, and I guess I'll try to answer any questions. Or
Any questions of Kevin? Any discussion? Do I have a motion?
Mr. Chair, do we need a motion if we're leaving it as written and simply supporting the staff decision here to deny the scooter?
I think that would be acceptable, just so we kind of know where we stand here.
Yeah,
I think it's just staff want to make sure we're giving them direction. Nancy?
I think that there's been a request for scooters, so an affirmative motion to not make any changes to allow scooters on the right-of-way might give that direction, and it would be then a concurrence, it would be a direction from the city commission.
Mr. Pipcorn?
Can I add a couple things, Mr. Chair? First of all, I'm disappointed Kevin didn't give us a demonstration because I was looking forward to that. I thought that was part of the deal.
That would be fun, wouldn't it?
Second of all, to me, if we've all been to cities and there's some places where it just looks like debris, they just drop them every place. To me, however, if you had places where they have to return them to, it's a transportation option. Lots of people, I mean, I am not going to be doing it, but some people would. Do you know what I mean? So I guess I'm interested in other commissioners' comments about it because I do think it's just another option. But to me, if we restricted, where they're left, that would allay my concerns. I don't know if that makes sense. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Chair.
Mr. Kolpak?
Yeah, there's 3 different case studies in today's agenda packet that talk about unintended implications and consequences of cities who have tried this both as a pilot and longer term, some more successfully than others. Some of the issues include liability, to your point, Commissioner Pepcorn, placement, drop-off locations, code changes that would need to be requirement for enforcement. And so to me, it just seems like a lot of those questions still remain unanswered, and coming before with a recommendation at this point to allow this without having done more research and homework on the implications in our community, I wouldn't be comfortable. I certainly support the staff decision at this time for denial. I'll leave it at that.
Will you make that motion then?
I will make that motion.
Is there a second? Second? My comment is that I think a lot of times you have scooters all over and they do make a downtown kind of messy with our narrow sidewalks. They're orthopedic delight because people that are older than they should get on them and usually have unintended consequences. So if I was an orthopedist, I'd vote for this. But I think it is until you would have a good options of drop off or cleaning it up. We had a bike program that was very successful. They had docking stations and people utilized them, and we didn't have bikes laying all over. I thought it was one of our best programs. In fact, I think, John, weren't we nominated like one of the top places in the country that used bikes successfully? So I would like to see a much better program than just let's have scooters all over at this point. Commissioner Strand.
The only other thing is private individuals could still have a scooter or an e-bike. So we're not stopping people from this micromobility option in their personal lives. But I think the public safety for the general, the people, when you travel to other cities and you get into a taxi cab and they're telling you about these scooters that they're driving in the traffic with and how they hate them and how many people get run over, and it's just nightmare after nightmare. Maybe someday we'll get a method that works in our climate especially.
Any other discussion? Roll call vote, please.
Kolpak.
Aye.
Pepcorn.
Aye.
Turnberg.
Aye.
Strand.
Yes.
Mahoney.
Aye. Thanks, Kevin. Demo next time. 40, recommendation for approval of the items of the FHR staff meeting. Susan Thompson to explain.
Good evening, Commissioners. This is the report of the July 1st FAR meeting. Just a couple items to go over. Item A is to receive and file the sales taxes. These are collections through April, which represent sales from collections through June, which represent sales from January through April. The year-to-date versus last year for that time period is 5.4% increase. Item B is a follow-up from the January meeting. Chief Bolsky requested to be able to attend the National Police Memorial with the generous donations of badges of unity. And this is just providing a summary of those expenses and the fact that the Badges of Unity organization generated enough donations to cover that trip for staff in its entirety. Item C is a reclass request. The reason this is on this agenda is that it's currently a vacant position. It's a fairly simple request. The current employee that is retiring is a 0.8 FTE, and when they would like to post that as a full-time position. And then the last item comes from the Health Department. This is a specific request from the Fargo Public Schools. The Health Department provides home health aides. That is a 100% billed back to Fargo Public Schools, and they would like to add 2 positions for the school year. Any questions?
Any questions? A motion, please.
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
Discussion. Roll call vote, please.
Strand.
Yes.
Turnberg.
Aye.
Kolpak.
Aye.
Pepcorn.
Aye.
Mahoney.
Aye. 41, you have my recommendation for commission liaison assignments. I've moved some people around. I met with every commissioner on their liaison assignments and what they wanted to do. During our governance model, we did talk about moving people around a little bit to different areas to do that. Tried to clarify in some areas where people would have more liaison relationship with the staff, so that could be managed in that way. And in talking to everybody, the changes I made seemed to be okay with them. So I'd be asking for a motion to approve.
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
Discussion.
So, Mr. Chair, just real quick, on the diversion authority, I just have a question. So we had a diversion authority meeting last week, and the changes were already made, the requests were made at the diversion authority before we voted. So was there what was the process behind that? I guess that's my question.
Well, when I talked to the previous administrators, Mike Redlinger and Robert Wilson, usually the term starts in July 1, and the difficulty was if we waited till this meeting and after, then in theory, that person wouldn't be sitting in July. And just it made it better for the motion to come that we were going to do that. If that was not accepted, then we'd put the other person back in that position. It wasn't trying to do anything different than I knew our assignments would come out today. And the next meeting of the diversion is the 3rd week. So we felt that we're just trying to get in front of that. And that's all it was meant by doing that.
So, Mr. Chair, I just want to say it's very important that we vote on something before you do something. That's my thing. I totally get that.
I appreciate that,
I'm not
Commissioner.
talking about you specifically. I'm just saying as a group, I think it's very important. I mean, that's what we do. And so this is not meant anything to anybody specifically. I'm just saying we have to act. You have to follow the correct procedure, even though that may have been more expedient. Do you get what I'm saying?
We follow.
Okay.
Commissioner Strand.
Thank you, Mayor. And Commissioner Pepcorn, I might have muddled that a little bit. The mayor and I did visit about assignments, and it was my request not to be reappointed to the diversion authority for a variety of reasons. But knowing that, I asked for an alternate to sub for me the last diversion authority meeting because I knew I wouldn't be there. I don't know what happened after that and if they already replaced me, but that was.
We hadn't replaced you for that meeting, John. It's for the next meeting.
For the next one.
Thank you. Any other discussion? Roll call vote, please.
Strand.
Yes.
Kolpak.
Aye.
Turnberg.
Aye.
Pepcorn.
Aye.
Mahoney.
Aye. You have my recommendation for Deputy Mayor and Denise Kolpak. Do I have a motion?
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
Discussion? Roll call vote, please.
Strand,
Yes.
Turnberg,
Aye.
Kolpak,
Aye.
Pipcorn,
No.
Mahoney.
Aye.
Mayor, I would like to make one comment about deputy mayor positioning.
Sure.
And I would encourage you as mayor to really turn your deputy, your assistant into your right-hand person. You know, I'm a real believer that when we have a vice chair or a deputy, that they become adequate to fulfill the position if they need to. So I would encourage you as a mayor to really share with your deputy as much as you're able to for authority and for decision-making and for approaching things so that that individual gets a real tractionable action as a deputy,
Thank you, Commissioner Strand. Appreciate
rather
it.
than just a token position.
So we're going to start with you on liaison commissioner assignment updates. Commissioner Strand.
Well, we had the airport groundbreaking the other day, a $200 million expansion of our airport. I just think it's the most exciting thing happening in Fargo right now for the region. That was just substantial to have 2 senators and our governor present and the public there attending. The wind was present also, but that was a moment for us to recognize in Fargo's history this growth of our community and the airport that serves us.
It was very nice groundbreaking. It was. Commissioner Kolpak.
Yep, I have one slide and then an announcement I'll start with, that there's a decision that's been made that this Wednesday will be the first aerial spraying for mosquitoes, weather pending and conditions being appropriate. So there will be notification from the comms team to the public about that aerial spraying. And then my other update is recognizing, as we started the meeting today with 32 years of service from Director Fleming, the water treatment plant is recognizing 31 years of a retirement. If you want to go to the next slide. Thank you. Of Dave Buckholz, served more than 31 years. His last day will be Friday, July 12th. And among his many contributions, Dave was the team that oversaw the design and implementation of the membrane water treatment plant. If you recall, they just got People's Choice Award at the National Convention for best tasting water. He also initiated the idea to replace 3 of Fargo's water towers with 1 new tower downtown, which also brings with it many more efficiencies and better water flows. With the utilization of gravity, and it corrected a number of problems from those older water towers as a result. And he helped guide the design and construction of the pump station that allows the water utility to serve West Fargo as a regional customer, which is so important to the overall operation of our water treatment plant and our utilities in general. So I just want to thank him and congratulate him on 31 years and wish him the very best in his retirement.
And what he did is saved West Fargo $97 million because West Fargo was going to build a water plant, and for the $3 million pump plant to West Fargo, they saved $97 million. Commissioner Turnberg, are you ready?
Nothing today.
You'll learn as this goes
Well-
along, but you may become like your colleague next to you, is Commissioner Pipcorn.
Sure.
Oh, he has a report. Okay.
I do have a report, shockingly. And the report is, in engineering, you might have heard some cheering today because I replaced as the liaison for engineering department. And so, but seriously, I've been an engineering liaison since I started, I think. And so I talked to him today. I'm very sad because it's an excellent group. And we've had, well, the 4 engineers, Tom's the most recent one, but we've had lots of different engineers and I'm very proud of them. And it's been a blast. That's my favorite thing. So the mayor asked to change me. I did not do it voluntarily, but anyway, it's a great group, and they've done so many great things. The cool thing I like is they learn as they go. If you looked at what we did with paving streets 25 or 50 years ago, it's much different now. And so anyway, like going down 32nd Avenue now. We were in this debate about how and if you go down, it's beautiful. I mean, they've just, and so it's such a great group, and so it's been fun to be a part of. And so I told them no celebrating, but I still heard there was a lot of confetti and there was a lot of music going on. So anyway, that's all my report is. But it was fun, and now I'm going to planning. And so if you've seen black curtains, the planning is. All right, that's the end of my report. But I will say my only thing. So Nicole's the planner. I'm not a planner. But my only thing I want to accomplish in 2 years, Nicole, is to go from 67 committees to much less than that. Because the planning department is in charge of all organizing all those things. And so to me, I'm not going to accomplish much, but that is the one thing that I'm shooting for. So, all right. Thank you, Mr. Chair. That's the end of my report.
And Tom, sometime when you have time, I'd love to see how many on the CIP plan, how many millions of dollars Dave was watching you spend. So and I think that was a huge amount because we've had so much growth over the last 10 years. So Commissioner Pipcorn, thank you for your service to engineering, and engineers, thank you for working with Dave.
Can I just give credit to Tom? So Tom has indoctrinated me. I'm not that smart, and so he's had to repeat it a lot. Infrastructure, you have to pay for infrastructure, and it's never cheaper if you put it off, Mayor. We've learned this. You have to keep up with that. And so that's Tom. He goes, Commissioner, repeat after me. Infrastructure costs money. So, all right. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Yes, he does say that frequently. We're now to resident comments. So as you know, you have 2.5 minutes to comment, maximum 30 minutes total of all residents. The rules will be put up on the screen. Isabella Herrera is first. I may have said that wrong.
Which one?
Either mic works.
Okay. And my name is Isabella Herrera. Good evening, commissioners. I'm here as someone who grew up local, as a teacher, and as someone who cares, to share a message from my fellow residents of which I share their sentiments. I would like to request a written response as well. For over 9 months, the people of Gaza have endured a living hell. It's been 9 months of constant terror being perpetrated by the Israeli government. It's been never-ending starvation, dehydration, displacement, bombardment, and death. None of us can pretend to imagine what the people of Gaza are enduring. Imagine what living through this intense pain, trauma, and fear feels like for even a day, and certainly not for more than 9 months. Now I could go on and continue to further educate this commission on the never-ending war crimes that our country is helping Israel get away with, but you seem to not be concerned with these. Instead, I want you to imagine if you had to talk to a child in Gaza once this all ends. What would you say to them? Please take a few seconds. I know I'm speaking to politicians, and I'm sure you would give a typical answer. I'm sure you would say how sorry you are for them and just how sad and horrible the situation is. But if we can afford to spend millions of Fargo taxpayer dollars to turn Gaza into a parking lot, as one member of Congress enthusiastically put it, we can also at least afford to be honest with them. So if you are ever to talk to a child from Gaza, one that makes it out of this, please be honest with them. Tell them how pathetic you were. Tell them how you refused to use your power as the voice of this community, even to make a simple, strong statement against the obvious and hideous crimes our government is enabling. While they, the children of Gaza, spend hours every day scavenging for food and water, tell them that you cared more about a couple of angry emails from some of the most privileged citizens in the world than speaking out for more than 15,000 children slaughtered with US-made and funded bombs, more than 20,000 who are missing and separated from their families, and the remaining million who will have to endure this trauma and continued brutal occupation. Why is it so hard for you to refuse to pay for the deaths and trauma of others?
Jamie Seltzer. That door can push in, Jamie, when you go. I'm sorry, that's still up there.
Where did we go? Oh no, I'm good.
Yeah.
First of all, congratulations. Commissioners Strand and Turnberg on your recent election. Thank you all for your service. My name is Jamie Selzer. I live at 247 Robert Street North. I'm originally from North Dakota and moved back here to Fargo 3 years ago from Seattle, where I've lived in Seattle and London for most of the last 10 years. I'm a longtime tech executive with Walmart, e-commerce, and Amazon. I love downtown Fargo. Vibrant, and I've seen this other places, vibrant and safe downtowns are critical for growth. I defend downtown all the time to folks who say it's not good or dangerous or whatever. That said, the Roco parking ramp is becoming dangerous. I use that ramp every day. This weekend, if you had not heard, a large number of cars had all of their tires slashed. Obviously expensive for the folks who are dealing with it, but also imagine if you have to get your kids, if you want to bring your kids to the fireworks show, or you have a medical appointment or work, your tires are all flat. You're going to be in trouble at that point. The top floors of the Roco ramp have become nonstop drug dealing. I know, I park up there. Anyone can see it. Go up there, park for an hour, and just watch. You will see an endless stream of vehicles stopping next to each other, going to the windows, and then leaving. All hours of the day, but particularly in the evenings. A major factor for people not coming downtown is parking. We're North Dakotans, we want to park in front of the building. We encourage the ramp use. They're not going to use the ramp if people feel dangerous, or people feel it's dangerous, or they're going to have we're going to have property damage. The City Commission needs to decide if you want the perception of downtown parking ramps to be a safe, convenient, and inexpensive way to enjoy downtown, or if you want the perception to be that the places are unsafe, damage will happen to vehicles, or they may run the risk of encountering people who have even worse intentions. I hope the City Commission chooses safe parking ramps downtown, as taking no action at this point itself is a choice that you're making to ignore a growing problem that will only continue to get worse. Thank you.
Thank you. Mark Bosserman.
Yes, thank you for letting me come and say a few comments. The picture that was up there before of the river is my concern. What we're seeing on the film is the picture. The reality is what you don't see in this darkened area here, which is what's going on behind the bushes. You know, I live on the river for months and months, and I know you've, Mayor Mahoney, you've written back. My wife, you know, she runs on the path. We just, you know, we need to feel safe. We need to have options. We had the police out there on Wednesday before 4th of July, open tents right by the bike path and visible to everyone. And they said that, hey, they'd love to do their job, but their hands are tied. They can't do their job. And so therefore they don't know what to do. And I realized earlier you guys are addressing and waiting for those, as you commented in your letter back to my wife, that you're waiting to see what the ruling from the Supreme Court was going to be. And so we have now a starting place. So we just want to make the community safe for everybody. We want to work with you guys, and as citizens, we want to know what our, you know, what we can do to help and how we can make it, like Mr. Bepcorn said, good for everyone. If they're paying to camp in Lindenwood, why aren't they paying to camp out in front, you know, all the way up to your place right out here? You see a lot of them. So we just want to, you know, bring home the point that we're concerned. We want everybody to feel safe, just like the gentleman who just spoke, cars and vandalism. I mean, we can either let them run the asylum, or we can, you know, law and order rules. And I think most people want law and order, and there's consequences for breaking the laws, and we need to enforce that in order to take back our streets, you know. So that's my main focus, is what can we do as citizens to help you make the best decisions you guys can to make, you know, when you go to the creamery down here and you got a person passed out right in front of the door with children and kids, you know, it's just not making you want to go back downtown. And that's not good for business, and that's not good for future and all that type of thing. So I'll leave it at that, but I'm glad that we're getting comments, and we started out the meeting, Nancy, as you mentioned, what was going on in the national scene.
Catherine Bosserman.
Hi, I'm Catherine Bosserman. I am married to Mark Bosserman, so we're talking about the same subject here, and I don't want to belabor the point, but I run on that bike path between Lindenwood and maybe the farmer's market 4 to 6 times a week. And I now am literally with Mace feeling very uncomfortable, and sometimes the first people I encounter are people walking from tents to park benches, and so I do not feel safe. And it's unsanitary, it's unsightly, there's litter, we don't know what's going into the river. And so we know how this movie ends, right? We've been to Seattle, we've been to LA, we've been to San Francisco, and so I feel like we need to do something here in Fargo so that we do not become those cities here in the Midwest. So the park is beautiful, but not when it's covered with tents and litter and everything else. And so, like, we love this city. We live here. We want to stand up for it. We want to feel safe. We want to feel sanitary, and we want it to be beautiful. And that's what we want for our city, and we hope that all of you agree with that.
Corey Edgerton.
Good evening. My name is Corey Edgerton. I use she, her pronouns, and I'm a Fargo resident. Israel's war on Gaza will be entering its 10th month as the official Palestinian death toll has reached nearly 38,200. However, one of the world's leading medical journals, The Lancet, estimates the actual death toll could be 186,000 or even higher. That's roughly 8% of Gaza's population. Israel has been bombarding the Gaza Strip since October 7th, attacking hospitals and killing hundreds of health workers and journalists. This has made it increasingly difficult for the Gaza Health Ministry to keep an accurate track of the death toll. The true numbers likely include thousands still trapped under rubble and those who have succumbed to the secondary effects, such as malnutrition, disease, and lack of medical care. A major contributor to the excessive loss of life is the 14,000 bombs, each weighing 2,000 pounds, supplied by the United States to Israel. These bombs have not only caused immediate casualties, but also devastated Gaza's infrastructure, worsening conditions that lead to additional deaths. The destruction of healthcare facilities, food distribution networks, and sanitation systems has left the population in a perilous state. How many more lives need to be lost? How many more children need to become orphans? There is no safe place in Gaza. I ask the Commission, what will it take for you to act and reconsider passing the ceasefire resolution? Thank you.
A resident comment is over at this time, and the meeting is adjourned. Thank you.